Hey guys, Motorcarnut here, and today we're going to be dealing with this. Squeaking on the suspension. Pretty bad. Now, we're going to take you through the steps of seeing what's squeaking. Is that a metal-to-metal squeak? Is that a rubber bushing squeak? Sometimes they're hard to diagnose, but with a couple of simple tools, you'll be able to fix this problem, hopefully not replace anything. If it's not really warranted, yes, maybe we can just grease it up. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you some of the tools that you're going to need to take care of this. First thing you want to do is lift up the vehicle so the tire is off the ground, enough that you can put like a bar or something underneath here, right? And what you want to do is you want to lift up on it and have somebody, make sure you have a jack stand on there, and have somebody put their hands or look underneath anywhere on the suspension, the upper ball joint, lower ball joint, the bushings, anything that seems like it has too much play. If nothing has play, then we're going to continue. If something does have play, that can be your problem right there. You have to address that first and then continue if you still have the noise. All right, so I did it on mine, right? And I had somebody check it. I checked it. There's no play. Then you grab it at the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock position and you wiggle it. And basically there's no play. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to get a mechanic's stethoscope. You can get them online, maybe 10 bucks. All right. And what you're going to do is you're going to drop the vehicle back down and we're going to hear the noise. Matter of fact, I can show you now. Now it does. Listen. Hear it? So, and what we're going to do, the best thing to do is take the jack completely off. All right. If you're in the front or the back, you just open the door, or you can step on this until it starts making that noise. And you're going to get I'll show you the stethoscope. Looks like this. Like I said, you can get them. You can go to Harbor Freight if you have one locally, or Amazon, anyone on the internet. They're just convenient to have for a lot of things, listening to engine noises too. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it on all things that move inside over here. The right here, the upper ball joint here, the lower ball joint, the shocks. There could be squeaking in there while somebody moves it. You'll hear it. This thing is very accurate. You'll hear that loud squeak in your ear, and you'll know where it's coming from. Because a lot of times, it could be, sound travels. In other words, let's say if it's the spring or, the strut tower squeaking, it can transmit down. But when you have, the stethoscope, through the ears, you'll hear it loud. So, and that's one of the best ways. That's a cheap tool to have, and it's good to keep in the truck or the car, whatever. All right. So then, if you identify, let's say you have, you checked everything. I'm going to take the wheel off, and I'm going to show you what to do next. All right. So now, got the wheel off, and what you're going to do is you want to put the jack underneath the lower control arm, so it has pressure on it, but you got to be careful. Don't put nothing here. This can slip down. All right. Take all the weight and leave the weight just on the lower control arm. And why? Is because that with the weight on there is going to mimic with the tire on and the whole vehicle on the floor. And places, like I said, you're going to get your mechanic's stethoscope, and you're going to check anywhere here, the sway bar bushing over there, sway bar links here, tie rod in here. You got to make sure everything is tight. Like I said before, if these are tight and this is tight, all right, chances are, it depends what kind of vehicle, but like on Ford vehicles, this, if you notice, they do not have grease ports. They don't put the grease ports on the ball joints anymore. They just don't. And a lot of times, this is original, so it still looks good, has no play, but sometimes the grease, there's no rips. Sometimes the grease just dries out in there. And that squeaking is metal to metal. And that's not good. If you, on this particular vehicle, if you hear that squeaking constantly, what's going to happen, metal to metal, it's going to rub, and it's going to get loose, and then it's going to, it'll be a dangerous situation. All right, this can pop out, and this wheel can just buckle. So you don't want it to come to that. That's why you check first if there's any play. This one has a little bit of squeak. It just started squeaking. There's no play. What we're going to do, and you can't really open this, is they have this little grease tool with a needle that you can pierce it, put a whole bunch of grease in there, maybe one side and maybe the other side, and then clean it really good and just put a little dab of, I like to put the gasket maker, but you could put, silicone sealer, so it just seals it up, and you just keep an eye on it. I mean, eventually it will have to be replaced, but a lot of times the grease dries out in there, and that's what gives you your squeak. Now, other squeaks, it could be the shock tower. If it's all rusted, or if this moved, or if it was replaced, it's aftermarket, it's possible. You can spray a little bit of silicone penetrating oil there. All the joints, you can actually spray a little bit and then put the car back on the ground with the tire and, bounce it a little bit. And if the squeaks go away, it's probably one of the little seals in there. But this one, not seals, when it's squeaking, that means something's going wrong. Something's breaking. But if you don't have the money to start replacing everything, you just, you do one thing at a time. If it's just a little bit of a squeak now and the rubber's a little bit worn, and you can get away with just like a little dab of penetrating oil or grease, why not? As long as nothing's loose, like I said. All right, so on this case, I put the stethoscope here, and I heard it loud. I can put it here, and you'll hear something, but it's loud here. So like I said, the sound radiates all over. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the tool I'm using. So basically, it's a grease gun with a little adapter. This is a little adapter that you put on. All right, you can get this little adapter or get the grease gun. If you don't have a grease gun, you're going to need a grease gun. You can get these, like I said, on Amazon, anywhere on the internet, cheap. I got this at Advanced Auto Parts. It's like a $5 needle. And what we're going to do is we're going to pierce it and see what it does. You see that? It makes the grease go in. So we're going to pierce it. Let me put this down. Be careful because these needles, they like to break. And right here, I'm going to put it. And over here, a little hole. And I'm going to fill it up nice, about 20 pumps. And you just make sure you don't want to blow it out. I don't even think these things come off, but you just don't want to blow nothing out. You may see a little bit of grease come out of there. We're going to do it. And we're going to take it from there. So then we just put the grease in the hole. Goes in very easy. And give it about 20 pumps because not that much comes out. If you want to just use one, just only make one little hole, that's fine. All right, I'm going to do it about 20 or 30 pumps because you see, look, not that much comes out at once. So you want to make sure that it packs that joint, but not too much that you're going to blow the rubber boot. Okay, I put about 20 or 30 pumps in there. It all depends because, like I said, it's a very small needle. So what you want to do is, see how I'm doing this and it still wants to come out a little bit? That could be air. You do that, and now we're going to test it, see if the squeak goes away, and then we're going to clean that up really good and put a dab of silicone sealer on there, and that should be okay. All right, I put the wheel back on. Now, let's give it a try. There's all weight on the suspension like it was before. There you go. And the noise is gone. I grabbed onto the door to do that. And, like I said, it could be a temporary fix. Just make sure you put the silicone sealer on there and check it. Make sure it didn't blow back out because you don't want the grease leaking out of them. And again, if yours has play, replace it. This is just, a little tip that, prolong the life. You don't have to replace it right away. you know, and save some money, you know. And who can't save some money right now? As long as you do it safe. All right, guys, Motorcarnut. Please subscribe, hit that like button. Any questions pertaining to the video, leave them below. I answer all my questions. Anybody has ideas for new videos, drop them in the comments. If I can do it, I will. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.